to slap the shit about it.
I said you ain't talk none. I ain't hear shit about no money. I was fucking on the low. Play it super cool and public. Got a bitch touching toes, but this dick all in her stomach. Blue beam, tracer rounds. We got smoke, that's if you want it. Go. I just hit a lick, running out with 1500. Cutting half up off the rip. Other half, I'm just like fucking eyes broker than a bitch. Now I'm coolin', I ain't stuntin'. I put that shit in the crypto. They ain't peeping, I'm coming. Gon' hustle to the max. 100 ways to get this shit poppin'. Dame shorty, what she looking at? Got my dick throbbing. Should I go Givenchy or Balenci? Sound like rich problems. Businessman, all I do is work. I want big pockets. I'm the shit, you dig? Open, she gon' get right in. Pop out on them back to back. Something like a Nympho's kid. Sliding like the disco did. Fuck him, he a bitch. He grits cook. Boy, you bet not slip. Mini, but it break through brick. You ain't talking nothing. I ain't hear shit about no money. I was fucking on the low. Play it super cool in public. Got a bitch touching toes, but this dick all in her stomach. Blue beam, tracer rounds. We got smoke, that's if you want it. Go.
Yo, 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 what's going on, man? It's Running Man Rye. We back at it, Sports 7. You feel me? Here to break down the NBA slate, every single game, give you my thoughts and opinions. Just because I say I like a side doesn't mean I want you to go out there and put your hard-earned money on that. I'm just telling you what I think. Feel me? Make sure that we're gambling responsibly. And let's make sure we get this fucking cheese, man, because that's the type vibe I'm on. You know, it's a new month. I had one bet yesterday. I didn't hit it, but I'm not worried about that shit. We got us a long month. You know, let's get to it, man. So, you know, make sure you like the video, subscribe, comment, all that, man. If I helped you in any way, man, make sure to let me know. I appreciate everybody who watches this video, man. Let's get to it. Um, Pelicans going against the Hornets. Okay, this is an interesting game for real, for real. Hornets at home laying 6.5 points. I'm seeing ooh. minus 250 on the money line. So, you know, they got Hornets as a heavy favorite going into this game. Over is at 230.5. Let's look into it, man. Let's look into it. So we got expected lineup: Trey Murphy, Herbert Jones, Sadiq Bey, Zion Williamson, and Derek Queen for the Pelicans. For the Hornets, we got Lonzo Ball, Con Knipple, Brandon Miller, Mikal Bridges, and Diabate. I like this team a lot. You look at the Pelicans injuries, they have somebody named Hunter Dickinson. He's questionable, dealing with something in his knee, and DeJounte Murray is out. Then for the Hornets, you're talking about Mason Plumlee out. That's been going on. KJ Simpson out. That was 34 minutes ago due to left hip strain. Okay. So, you know, both teams are got their main guys. Both teams have their main pieces that they've had throughout the season. Let's see, man. Let's see. So, Hornets played January 31st at home against San Antonio and did win that game, and that was a big game. Won that game outright as an underdog. They were getting plus 4 points, and they covered the spread. Won that game by 5 points. Pelicans, their game was January 30. Their last game was January 31st at Philly in Philly. Did not cover the spread of plus 6.5. Lost that game by 10 points to the 76ers. Um, the Pelicans were playing pretty decent basketball. Beat the Grizzlies. Beat San Antonio. Lost to OKC, but did cover the spread. Then played Memphis again and beat Memphis again. So you makes sense, you know, to lose to Philly. I think Philly is the better team. Now, I'm not personally one of those guys who would bet Philly as a home favorite, but Philly is the better team, so it makes sense that they won. In this spot, I think the value has to be with the Pelicans. Call me crazy. Charlotte has been playing wonderful basketball. This is a team that I've made a lot of money with. I'm actually um undefeated betting on the Hornets. You know what I mean? And every time I bet on the Hornets, I made money. I just think this spot might be a little too much. You know what I mean? Coming off of beating a team like the Spurs with Wemby and the other pieces that they had, is the type of things that would make a spread be minus 6.5 when the spread probably should be somewhere more around the minus 4. I like Charlotte. Don't get me wrong. I like Charlotte. I just don't know if I'm in a rush to lay all these points with them as if they're just this hot team. So that's kind of my opinions right there. As of right now, I am leaning the Pelicans, but I don't know if I'd actually put my hard-earned currency on that, you know. Just looking into some other things real quick, real quick. This will be third game in 4 nights for the Pelicans. Yeah, yep. Third game for 4 nights for the Pelicans. So I'm not going back them. The rest spot doesn't really, say go out there and take them. Went on the road, then went home, then went on the road. Like this is crazy. It went to Houston, came back to New Orleans, went to Memphis, went to San Antonio, went to Oklahoma, came back home, went to Philly. Now they're in Charlotte. Like so, the travel schedule, the rest schedule, and them just being on the road, Pelicans being way better at home. I'm not going to take the Pelicans, but I do think there's too many points with the Hornets. Let's go to the next game though. My fault, yo. Hold up. Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't even know I didn't have my slides on the right jump. My fault, yeah. Shit. My fault, my fault. Next game, Houston going into Indiana against the Pacers. Pacers are getting 6.5 points in this one. Um, at home, money line is looking like it's around plus 200. Let me just double check. Yep, Caesars, you can get plus 210. Okay. Look at the injury report. You see Steven Adams out, Kevin Durant out, Fred VanVleet out. Hold on real quick. Durant has been ruled out for Monday's game against the Pacers. Durant is dealing with a left ankle sprain and will miss just his third game of the season and his first due to an injury. The superstar's next opponent to play will come Wednesday against Boston. Okay, gotcha. So no KD, no Fred VanVleet. You look at Indiana, no Tyrese Halliburton, no Obi Toppin. I don't know about y'all. I don't know how y'all feel about this, but I never really liked Houston's offense this season. I didn't think their offense was all the way there yet. You're talking about giving me 6.5 points with Indiana having, most of their pieces other than Halliburton, Obi Toppin, and Obi Toppin's not even really that much of a scorer. They got most of their pieces, and you're talking about a Houston team that doesn't have Fred VanVleet, their playmaker, and they don't have their scorer and KD. You're gonna rely on Amin Thompson, Josh Okogie, Tari Eason to get you points. No, I can't do that. I do like Alperen Sengun. I think he's a good player. I think Jabari Smith is a good player. I just think laying 7 points on the road without your main score kind of scares me a little bit, especially when you're Houston. You know what I mean? Houston, their offense isn't that good, bro. Their offense really isn't that good. Where they come through on the defensive end, and I feel like that's how they get shit done. Me personally, in this spot, I probably would have to back the Pacers. Pacers played Houston in Houston December 29th and lost that game by 7 points. So they are in a revenge spot at home. Let's look at this rest situation. The Rockets' last game was January 31st. They played against Dallas at home in Houston. And the Pacers' last game was January 31st against the Hawks. They got their get back, won that game. Damn, that would have been a good game to battle. I knew they was gonna win that shit. That shit. Um, yeah, so I mean, coming to this game, 1 day rest, both teams. Pacers at home. Pacers have been at home the last 2 games. So public, 81% of the bets are on Houston money line, 59% of the money. So sharp money is coming in on Pacers, and I think that is the right side. I'm not saying that Houston won't win this game. Houston probably wins this game. I just think that Houston is gonna go in there and win by 7 points without KD is kind of crazy. What was the spread in there in that last game? The spread was plus 12 and a half, and the Pacers covered on the road plus 12 and a half. I think they can cover this plus 6.5 at home as well, if not win outright. So I will probably be backing the Pacers. The line did open up at 5.5, got up to 6.5. As I'm looking now, I'm seeing 6.5s with Indiana, all at minus 115, except Caesars. You could get a minus 110 right now on Caesars. I might have to do that. I might have to do that. I might have to do that, but we'll look into that a little bit more later on. But Houston is a great team though, so you feel me? Don't just go out there ready to fade Houston. But I if I am gonna fade Houston, I'm gonna fade Houston on the road coming off of wins. You know what I mean? If they were coming off a loss or at home, it's hard for me to fade Houston. Let's go to the next game. Minnesota Timberwolves going against the Memphis Grizzlies. Minnesota coming into Memphis, laying 7.5 points. Okay, let's see injury report. Oh man, this is looking a little iffy. So we got Dante DiVincenzo in the expected lineup. Anthony Edwards is questionable, dealing with back spasms. Uh, this is something he was dealing with in the open of the season, and the issue has seemingly resurfaced, putting his status in question. And then Julius Randle dealing with left thumb soreness. Terrence Shannon out. Memphis, uh, the main people for real, Santi Aldama, Brandon Clark, Zach Edey, all out. John Concar out. John Morant, Scottie Pippen Jr. all out. Jaren Jackson is questionable. Left quadricep bruise. So that is something that, you probably want to keep your eye out on. No Jaren Jackson going against his Timberwolves team. I mean, I don't like laying big numbers, especially with the Timberwolves, man. One of the worst teams against the spread this season. Um, don't really want to do it. I don't really want to do it. But I got to admit, they have been playing great basketball ever since that win against Golden State. Went, played Dallas, beat Dallas up. Went, played OKC, beat up OKC. Went, played Memphis, beat up Memphis. Now, like I said, they just played Memphis January 31st. Now they're playing them again on the 2nd. Both games are in Memphis. So is Memphis about to drop back-to-back home games against the Timberwolves? I'm not quite sure. The spread opened up at 11 minus 11 for Minnesota in the first game, and now it's minus 7.5. So part of me is feeling like either two things are going to happen. Either they know Jerry Jackson Jr. is going to get ruled out, they know Anthony Edwards might get ruled out or is going to get ruled out, or they know this game is going to be more competitive because, um, this team is on their home floor and doesn't want to take back-to-back ass whoopings. So I would not be surprised if Grizzlies come out here and win the first quarter or something like that. But I think all in all, they probably should lose this game and they probably should get cooked. Um, you know, where's Cam Spencer? Cam Spencer is coming off the bench, I'm assuming. Yep, Cam Spencer will be coming off the bench. This is a game I can't bet though. I think this is one of those games that I know the public probably look at it and be like, yeah, especially if Anthony Edwards plays, Julius Randle plays, public's gonna be all over the Timberwolves. And I feel like they're not gonna take into consideration that this is a revenge spot at home for the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'm not in a rush to go out there and lay 7.5 points with the Timberwolves, but no way, shape, form could I back Grizzlies in this spot. So I'm not even going to waste too much time talking about that game. There's no way I could take the Grizzlies right now. They're bad. They're just a bad team. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's go to the next game. Philadelphia 76ers going into LA to play the Clippers. Clippers are laying minus 2.5 points. When we look at the lineup, we're seeing Tyrese Maxey will be playing. VJ Edgecombe will be out there. Kelly Oubre will be out there. I mean, Dominic Barlow and Joel Embiid is also probable. Paul George is out due to suspension. For the Clippers, we got James Harden questionable, with something personal. So, I mean, I think, most times when I see personal tags, I typically feel like they're not gonna play. You know what I mean? He didn't play Sunday against the Suns due to something personal. So, you know, I feel like he's not gonna play in this game either. Back to back situation. I highly doubt that he actually plays in this game. So you got Clippers on the second leg of a back to back with travel coming from Phoenix, going back home to LA. You have the 76ers coming in on 1 day rest, coming off that game against the Pelicans where they did handle their business. Um, I'm sorry. So going back to the Clippers, James Harden questionable. Derek Jones is doubtful. So Derek Jones probably doesn't play either. And Ty Washington out. Bradley Beal out for the season. All right. So back to this game specifically. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I'm in a rush to back the Clippers on the second leg of a back to back without James Harden. Now, if James Harden is ruled into this game, then that's a whole different story. But I personally don't think I want to lay the 2.5 points with the Clippers without knowing if James Harden was playing. And as far as Philly's concerned, I actually like Philly a little bit in this spot. The only thing I don't like about Philly is the cross country travel. It's like the only thing I don't like. They're coming from Philly, going all the way to LA, going cross country like that. 1 day rest. I don't really like that. This will be third game if no, I'm lying. I'm sorry. This will be third game in 4 nights for the Clippers though. Yup, this will be third game in 4 nights for the Clippers, second leg of a back to back. Spread opened up at 3.5, -3.5. It's now came down to 2.5, and I think you can even see some 1.5s. Yeah, and I agree. I do think, at 3.5, I probably would have been on Philly for sure, for sure. Philly, yeah, for sure. But in a pick 'em, I don't know if I'm really in a rush to bet this game. You know, one thing I try to tell people all the time is every number matters, every point matters, every half a point matters. You feel me? If this game, when the spread came out, if it was at 3.5, bro, and you're now seeing it and it's at 1.5. I mean, it's really the value that was in the Sixers is getting taken away, and then the books is obviously telling you the Clippers probably shouldn't be a 3.5 point favorite if it's dropping from 3.5 to 1.5. That's common sense. So in this spot, I do like Philly. I'm just not sure. This is all right. Let me say it like this. I like Philly. I'm going with Philly. I think Philly wins this game. I don't like the spot that the Clippers are in, but this isn't like, oh yeah, there's no way the Clippers could win this game. Clippers could 100% go in here and win this game. So, betting on this game is almost like gambling, like legit gambling. Like, you feel me? You're just flipping a coin. Sharp money coming in on Philly a little bit on the money line and the spread. So yeah, I gotta back Philly in this spot. They're a good team. They're a good team. I just, like I said, probably won't have no money on this game. Probably will not have no money on this game because it could go either way. So real quick, man, let's just, go through the slate one more time because that was the last game of this day's slate. Only a 4 game slate, nothing crazy. Tomorrow though, tomorrow what do we got going on? We got a couple games tomorrow. We're gonna have a good slate for tomorrow, so that's good. Yeah, man. New Orleans going against Charlotte. Give me the New Orleans Pelicans to cover the +6.5. You know, not that confident though. Give me Indiana at +6.5 against Houston. Give me the Timberwolves at -7.5 against the Grizzlies, and give me a +2.5 uh with Philly against the Clippers if because I think there's one still out there. I mean, Bet Rivers has it at -112. DraftKings has it at -122, bet MGM -125. So yeah, if you got Bet Rivers, I will go ahead and snatch that 2.5 up with Philly real quick. Or like I said, just wait until you figure out what's going on with James Harden. So yeah, guys, that's how I'm feeling. Like I said, if you want to know what I'm actually going to be betting on personally, putting my own hard-earned coin on, make sure that you hit the link below, join the Patreon, and you'll be able to see all my picks, man. 2026, we plan on going crazy, making a whole bunch of money. I promise you, we will make money. You feel me? Like I said, gamble responsibly, man. Make sure you check the injury reports. Other than that, man, y'all have a blessed day, man. Make sure y'all make some money, man. That's number one. It's running me around. This is Sports 7. I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.